Hi everybody, Joe Stobino here again. My third installment on jazz French horn recordings, and I thought I'd continue on with some more horn players because, you know, these days, well, there's so many great jazz horn players, it'd be impossible to go through them all. I'll go through the ones that I have recordings of. Another one, guy I'd like to talk about today is my friend Mark Taylor. He's in New York. Mark plays horn. He's been doing a lot of mellophone playing lately, and it sounds fantastic. He's got his own group out, his own records. For some reason I don't have his newest one here, and I can't find it. But it's called Circle Squared, and really great playing on that. He's marktaylormusic.net, I think is his website. He's on MySpace as well, so if you just go Mark Taylor French horn on MySpace, I'm sure you'll find him there. But another one that he did, his first album is called Quiet Land. And this is, again, some great singing French horn, fantastic playing. And I think there's even a penny whistle track on here that Mark takes a penny whistle solo. And it really sounds good. So good job, Mark. And glad to hear that he's doing well. And he's been playing with Henry Threadgill and his own groups and touring the world with lots of guys. So I'm glad to see he's doing well. Now, Mark also played in a brass quintet called the Ebony Brass Quintet. And these guys, I hope they come out with another CD soon, another recording, or at least come to my area and do some playing, because it's a really great album. And has 12 songs on here, and it's not your typical brass quintet recording. I mean, these guys, they're jazz tunes, and they did their own arrangements, and they're really great. They wrote for themselves, they wrote for the voicings of their instruments and the way they play. Really put together a knockout album. So big kudos to the Ebony Brass Quintet. Another New York guy, Vincent Chancey. This is an early one. It's called Welcome, Mr. Chancey. And I think he's put a new one out recently. I don't have it yet. I think in the last couple of years he put a new one out. I think it's called The Next Mode. And it was taking off from where Julius Watkins and Charlie Rouse in the late jazz modes left off. And I think he's doing some of those recordings. There's a guy out in the West Coast, big-time studio player, Rick Todd. This is his first album that he came out with, and just called New Ideas. And I heard him play live a couple of times, playing some jazz, and really great playing. There's a early picture of him from many, many years ago. He recorded this in Boston at Jordan Hall, down New England Conservatory. And there's a neat sound in here, a very live sound as well. Half of this album is classical, the other half is jazz. This guy, I really don't know much at all about, Arkady Shilkloper, and he's from Russia, and outstanding player. I wish I knew more about him. So Arkady, if you're out there and you're watching this, please send me an email sometime, and I'd love to find out when, you know, maybe we could do an interview at some point or something. I mean, he's fantastic. This is called Hornology, and this is just solo horn. And this album has him just overdubbing parts and playing lots of looping, which has become very popular the last few years. And man, it's knockout playing. Another guy with a fantastic high range. And this guy can do it all. And some of his solos are amazing that I've heard in other places, searching around the internet. And there's another West Coast guy, Ken Wiley. This album came out many, many years ago. I remember my buddy Marshall Seeley, when we were both living in Boston, and he called me one day. He said, "Hey, there's a record you got to go out and get, and this record store has it." And I ran out instantly and out of my small apartment in the Back Bay and went and got this record. And I'll tell you what, it's really fantastic. It's French horn, but it's kind of a new age record, but you know, it really sounds good. Lots of big 8D playing, and also one of my favorite instruments, the EVI, which is the electronic valve instrument made by Akai. I play fantastic record, Ken Wiley, and I think he has an instruction book out as well, so you can look him up on the internet. One other guy that's not a horn player, but he played mellophone, and the mellophone gets kind of a bad rap among horn players, but I'll tell you what, this guy, Don Elliot, played mellophone like there's no tomorrow, and he played a lot of great solos and on lots of people's records, and put a few records out on his own. He became a big-time producer in Hollywood, record producer out there, and So he and composer, and he's kind of a jack of all the trades. Don Elliot played mellophone, he played vibes, he played trumpet, played percussion. I mean, the guy was really quite the musician. And so if you want to listen to his solos, and they're very accessible for horn players, they're perfectly right in that horn range. He plays with a real laid back, almost behind the beat type of soloing, and so they're real accessible for horn players, and they're great for learning improvisation. And if you're going to get one record with him on it, it's this one. Don Elliot with it's Paul Desmond Quartet featuring Don Elliot. And this is definitely on CD. You can get it. Get it, get it, get it. I can't say, did I say get this one? Yeah, get this one. Wow, great mellophone solos on here. Just about every track has one on here. And it's Paul Desmond Quartet featuring Don Elliot. And worth getting. Now, Don Elliot also, there's one album I haven't been able to get, and I've seen it on eBay, but I always get outbid. It's a black album, I think, and I think it's just called Mellophone. And that one you can get. Please don't outbid me. I always try to get it on eBay, and everybody outbids me. But I have another one that I got recently. I found in a used record shop. I think I got this one on the West Coast somewhere. But it's Don Elliot Quintet. And not every track has mellophone on it, but about half the album does, and there's some great solos on it. Okay, well, so that's it for today, about all the time I have, and so we'll be checking in with you next time. Our next installment, we're going to talk about not necessarily jazz horn records, but records that have horn on them, or featured, and other records by other artists that maybe they don't include horn, but they're really important for your listening education. All right, so until next time, see you later.